everyone, welcome to Renovation Sportfish. Well, here we are, another hot and humid heat wave. It's been the story of the summer here. It's been very difficult to work on the boat. It's either hot and humid or raining. So anyways, we're doing the best we can. And in this episode, I'm going to be building and installing what I'm calling knees back here in the cockpit. Now, when I redesigned the side panels back here that cover from the deck up to the gunnels, I lost some of the support the factory panels were providing for the gunnel. It wasn't much, but it was some support. So with my redesign, I kind of eliminated that. So I have to do something to get some of that back, a little bit of it. And these things are also going to provide somewhere where I can attach the panels that I made too. So I'm going to do that for most of the video. But in the beginning of the video here, there's a few other things I was working on at the same time. So let's start with that. Alright, well, it is the end of May 29th, and it is only 47 degrees and it's raining out, so pardon the noise in the background. Last weekend I was working around my house and it was almost 90 degrees. I got a sunburn and I was jumping in my pool. Now I got a hat on. No beard, just a hat. But anyways, it's a good day to be doing what I'm going to be doing, and the coolness of the day is actually dictating what I'm going to do today. And that's remove this base trim and the support piece temporarily attached to the main bulkhead over here on both the starboard and the port side, and sand the paint behind these pieces. I didn't do that yet. So I'm going to put some tape around the edges so I know where to stop sanding, and just get that paint sanded off so I can actually install these hopefully this week when it warms up a little bit. So that's the first thing I'm going to do today, and we'll get started on it. So that's about how I'm going to sand it. As far as being close to the line, doesn't have to be right up to the line. I don't want it to be right up to the line because I want it to be a nice clean transition from the piece of trim to the paint. So that should be good enough to hold it on there. So just going to continue on with the rest of this and then do the other side. Alright, well, it's the next day. I didn't film this before I left yesterday, but I did get this sanded. Today's like a carbon copy of yesterday. It's cold and rainy, so I'm not going to be able to install anything. But that's where we left off yesterday. Well, the audio for this clip was so bad with the rain, I'm going to have to voice over. But basically what I'm saying is, here's a template that I built off camera for one of the knees. And I'll be building a template on camera for this knee. Alright, well there's a lull in the rain, so it's a good time to take a little video of the templates all done. There's a couple shims, one shim on each one of these holding it in. Down there, the deck there, that's just so it doesn't fall down. There's a gap in there, so it all came out pretty good. Once I got that first one done, these went a little bit easier. But anyways, still weren't perfect, super easy. But and then the port side ones, you saw me do that one, and yeah, I kind of fussed around with this one a little bit and got that one fitting, and I just put this panel in. It's not really in exactly correct, but it's in good enough to get an idea how it fits. So that's it. All right, well, yesterday I didn't film anything. I had to spend the whole morning cleaning this garage because I had to tear down my shed to put a fence in, and my garage became my shed. So I had nowhere to work. So that was a whole morning's worth of work getting that done. But that's finished, and I'll be living without a shed for a while. But anyways, what I did was I took the templates I made for the knees, and I traced them onto this 3/4 inch marine grade Doug fir plywood and cut out the 6 knees. And I brought them over to the boat and fit them in. They didn't take too much to fit them in. I just cut them out originally with a jigsaw and then trimmed them as needed with a jigsaw over there. So they came out good. They all fit good. So now what I want to do, I want to fiberglass over these before I put them in. The ones that were installed from the factory were not fiberglassed. They were just tabbed in. But I have fiberglass and I want to use it up because I don't have much more to do of this kind of stuff. And so that's what I'm going to do. Before I do that, I want to ease these edges over. And if this was one of the pieces in the boat, the hole would be on this side and the panels on this side. So I'm just going to fiberglass around this way. So I just have to ease this side over here. So I've got a round over bit set up in my router table here, and I'm just running these through and rounding it over. Now I am experiencing, I don't even want to call it chip out. It's like splintering out, and that's what you get with Doug fir plywood and router table. So I got some on this, and where that actually occurs, I'm just going to fill it with some Total Boat Total Fair, and then just sand it off and fiberglass over that. So got one done, and I got 5 more to do, so I'll get started on it. So this is what I'm talking about when I was comparing chipping out to splintering out. This is one of the splinters. I mean, this is a really long one. Most of them are a lot smaller than that, but that gives you an idea what I was talking about. So really, it was just in these 3 pieces here in front of me. And there's a really bad one. This is kind of one that I would say would be an average size of the pieces that are in front of me. But I'm just going to fill these in and deal with them tomorrow. so what you just saw me do was get all these pieces ready to go for some fiberglass. A lot of stuff to do around the house this year. Been putting a lot of stuff off, so it's cut into my boat working time, which is a little disappointing in that aspect, but that's how it is. That's how it goes. A one-man show, and got a lot of shows to do, not just on the boat. So anyways, we're trying to get back into things here. But anyways, all these are ready to go. I'm a couple clamps short, and I prefer these kind of clamps. I think I have a couple more at the boat, but I'm going to pick up some more, because some of these other ones are a little sketchy for this purpose. So I've got that done. All I got to do is put a little masking tape on them to protect them from the epoxy dripping, and the table I have to put some plastic down. Now the material I'm going to put on these is this here. This is Dynel. This is the last of the roll of Dynel that I have. I have some remnants in the box here, but this is the last of the roll that I have. And I thought I was actually done with it. I wasn't planning on using it for these. I was going to use some other kind of fiberglass, but I figured, you know what? I've got it. Might as well use it. I have no other use for it for the rest of the boat's life, hopefully. Who knows? But yeah, so I'm going to put it on these. One layer. Get that done hopefully tomorrow night, and then I can give you guys an update. I'm not really going to film it because I've filmed myself doing that many times, and I think I just want to put the music on and do it. Alright, let's go check out the progress here. Now, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is not Dynel fabric on these pieces. When I unrolled the roll I showed you guys, there just wasn't enough on there. So I started digging through my box of remnants, and I came across this right here. And that's 8-ounce fiberglass tape, 12 inches wide. And I had quite a bit of it. A boater friend of mine gave that to me a while back, and I just put it in that box. So, like finding a pot of gold, because that's what I really would have wanted to put on here anyways, and I was able to do it. So that was pretty sweet. That's going to save me a little time, because the other stuff, even though it comes out nice and smooth and I like it, it's a lot. There's a lot more work, because I'd have to be sanding this and re-epoxying. But I think all I have to do is trim off the edges here on all these and sand them down. So that's pretty nice. So that's what we're going to do next. Alright, so before I get too far along, I'm going to film a little bit and show what I'm up to. I've got this port side here. I got these pieces kind of sitting in here, kind of where I want them, just kind of making sure everything fits good. That's the aft piece on the port side. Here's the center one. I want to line it up with that little piece of wood you can see up there, and then line it up with the piece of plywood down here that's attached to the hull. So that'll be a good place to have it. And then I've got the panel mounted, and can see here, it's kind of centered on that piece of plywood again. And up at the top, it's a much wider piece on the top, so there's a little more play at the top. I'm just trying to get a even space between the plywood and the end of this panel here to attach the panel. I'm not going to attach any of these panels right to that plywood. I'm going to add a piece of blocking. So in this angle, I don't know if you can see the plywood up there or not, probably not, but anyways, I need a space from the center of the plywood. It's probably right about there, and the screw, I'm going to put a piece of blocking on there so the screws will go in this area here, along there somewhere. I'm just making sure I'm not putting it in a spot where I'm not going to be able to put the blocking in and be able to attach it. So I'll be taking off. So this side's fitting good. I still got to do the other side, but I'll be taking all this side deck piece off here to install this. But I just wanted to fit it on there with the side deck in just to make sure. And so we're going to go with it. So next thing I'll be doing is fitting these pieces on this side. Alright, so this is the starboard side, and you can see that piece of plywood is basically flush. So it's a little further back on this side, but I just have to go by wherever that piece of plywood is attached to the hull, and that's where the factory put it. So it's still fine up at the top there. It's a wider piece, that's where it'll go, and there's plenty of room. You can probably see how much room there is to put blocking on this side. So it'll be, the screws will be centered probably on that piece, which is nice. And then we got the other ones in. Now this one here, unfortunately the piece of plywood doesn't line up with my blocking at the top. So I'm going to have to just go to the edge of it. So it's not what I actually wanted, but if I put it in the center up top, then it's not going to be in the center on the bottom. So you know, you just have to work with what you got, and that should be good. Not going to worry about that. And then there's the after one. So now I actually have to take off these side deck pieces and get these pieces installed. Alright, so we have everything in here. I didn't film putting these in because this one and the other one on the other side of the first two I put in, I found it a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be to get the fillets. So I decided to do these two here on this side and the other side first before I filmed this one, which I thought would be a little easier by the time I did 4 of them. Thought I'd be a little better at it. So, and I think I did get better at it. But that's it. They're in. Now I've got to still tab them in, so I'll be sanding and doing some stuff to prep them for tabbing, but it was good to get that accomplished today. And we'll move on to other things. I'd actually like to get that center piece there installed. Kind of want to do it today, but I'm kind of beat. I'm done. So I'm going to go home, have a beer. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed that and you decide to come back and join us for the next one. Now I've previewed the footage I'm going to be using in the next video, and I'm going to kind of stick to the timeline. And what I worked on was this transom back here on the inside of the cockpit. So we'll stick with that. Might even get some paint on it. I'll see how the editing goes. We'll get back to the knees and the tabbing of those in a future episode. So until the next episode, have a good one, and we'll see you really soon right here on Renovation Sportfish.